This episode of the podcast is brought to you by our partner, Audible.
Yes, it is. So we are partnered with Audible. That means that if you are looking just to check it out, you don't want to put your card in and just take the dive. You can get 30 days for free on us. If you go to audibletrial.com/JATG or click the link down below, you'll be taken there. You can sign up for 30 days for free and just test it out. Like there's a lot of stuff on there that you can get for free, a lot of Audible exclusives. But what I really like about Audible is that out of the hundreds and thousands of audiobooks that they have, if you decide to purchase something, that is yours forever. Like if you decide not to carry on your subscription or you want to take a break or whatever it is, you can always go back and listen to that book whenever you want through the app on the internet. Doesn't matter because it's yours. So once again, you can get that for 30 days for free on us if you go to audibletrial.com/JATG.
Just like that, if the internet gods are blessing us, Johnny and the Greg is on once again. Thank you, one. Thank you all. Badass Tina's with us. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
How's the wrist?
It's still there. They made me mobilized now. Like I'm mobile. I can
Cool.
move it now.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool. So, Greg, you probably don't. It's been a while since this has been a thing for you, but I'm one of those people that literally hate going to a different hairstylist because I can just walk up to Tina, sit down, and say, all right, this is what we're going to do. And she can say yay or nay because she knows my hair and she knows how it moves and she knows how it works.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to get a haircut recently, very upset about it. And I just didn't like having to walk somebody new through it. I just didn't like it. So I miss you, Tina. I hope you get well because I need you back in my life.
Because he's only got about 9 more years of haircuts on. And
seriously. Then we got to work on the beard,
Yeah. Then we got to trim that beard. Yeah.
Actually, Johnny, can I be really honest with you?
Yeah, go for it.
That exact statement that you just said, I have gotten multiple texts. Actually, one today was like, I'm so anxious, like a huge paragraph of like, I'm anxious. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. Like, you just do it. And I love it. And I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're missing you out there. Everybody that gets their hair cut by Tina, we miss you. So get well. Like I tell my daughter, don't be in a hurry to make a mistake. So, like, don't push your rehab. Just take your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you something that they said that my bone is completely healed, but because of the fibrocartilage area around it, it's not, because it was completely detached. That's what's going to take a very, very long time, like very long time. Like even when I go back to work, I can only work a couple hours at a time.
Yeah, because it'll get weak. You have to build the muscle back up. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, like I can't lift even. I'm not supposed to lift anything heavier than my phone. And my next appointment is June 17th. So
okay,
then hopefully we'll work on strengthening.
Okay. So let's get on with this show. Now, usually the Greg and I, Johnny and the Greg, we don't go very heavy into stuff, but there are times where it comes, and this could get heavy. This could get very lighthearted. I don't know. I don't really have a side on this. I'm actually bringing this to everyone's attention because I want to just discuss it with you guys. I understand. If Greg doesn't, or if Tina, you don't, I will be playing devil's advocate just to do that because I'm bringing up. Oh, camera fell. You all right?
I got it. I got it.
Okay, so the topic we're going to talk about today is Harrison Butker. I think that's how you say his name. Butker.
Butker.
Yep.
He is the kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. And he was asked to come and give a speech at, and I'm going to butcher this name,
Benedictine. Yeah.
Benedictine
College.
University.
Yeah. It's a private Catholic college.
Yep.
That's all I pretty much know about it. And he gave a speech and he set the world on fire. And I watched it. I listened to it. I listened to it twice. And I'm not coming at this from any point of view other than I want to really understand if I understand this at all. So, Greg, you're one of the best people to talk to about this because I feel like you have a very good grasp on the Bible, what Jesus wants, what if you're going too far one way or too far the other, you always find a very good middle ground. And Tina, I actually don't know what your religion is. I don't know how you feel about this, so that's going to be a fun part of this. But instead of me talking, Tina, why don't you let us know kind of where you stand when it comes to the religion? Go.
I'm actually Catholic. I was baptized. My son is baptized. But I don't consider myself, and we've had this conversation though, that I'm more spiritual than anything. So like I personally don't believe that I have to go to church or anything like that as long as I'm a good person and I try to follow a lot of those rules, you know.
Mhm.
But I did go to church way back in the day. I went to Catholic grade school, sixth and seventh, so middle school. My
Okay.
sister went to Catholic school. So when I listened to it, yeah, it was my
Okay, we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
you're Catholic.
Mhm.
You still consider yourself Catholic, just maybe not very strict Catholic, I guess.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. I
Greg?
mean, literally the first time I had done Lent was the year that my mom died. She died 6 days before Lent ended. And that was the first year that I had done Lent and I don't even know how long and I had given up alcohol.
How long was that?
So she died 5 years ago.
Okay, so 5 years ago. Okay.
Yeah, and that was the last time that I did Lent too, because I was like, anytime I give up something bad.
Oh, you okay. Greg,
Yeah.
how about you, sir? Where do you stand?
Religiously?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just for the people of Twitch out there. I mean, you and I have had multiple conversations about this.
Born and raised Christian. I have changed my, I would say, flavor of Christian a couple times in my life. If you're looking for like the name of denominations and things like that, I was brought up one thing, I went to another thing, and now I am what is a considered non-denominational Christian.
Okay. Okay.
So there's no like, other than the Christian big team I'm a part of, I don't belong to like a bigger organization with lots of churches.
Okay.
Just us.
Okay, because you speak better than me, Greg. Can you start us out with this, like what he did? And
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So the basis of the story is Buckner is he's a conservative Christian guy. And he was asked to give the commencement speech at a conservative Christian college. And he went in and did that. And part of his commencement speech was almost like a callback to traditional, what would be considered traditional family values of like the 40s, 50s traditional family. So he's like, hey, ladies, as much as you're really excited about the degrees that you just spent, numerous years and thousands of dollars earning, what you're really more excited for is to get married and have kids. And that was immediately, sparked some reactions from even within his audience. Some people had some pretty strong reactions, and then the world as a whole has had strong reactions.
Mhm.
And then he even like doubled down on it, saying like, this is what you were made for. You weren't made for careers. You were made to be like stay-at-home moms.
Mhm.
And again, that just added fuel to the fire for a lot of people. And that's really what he was getting into. And it's a longer commencement speech. You can find it online. You can find lots of people's reactions online, both pro and con. But that's really what set it off and made people upset, was his call to return to that traditional
1950s type.
kind of traditional Christian value of women stay home and work and have children and raise children, or women don't have careers, they stay home and raise children and housewives.
So while he has his career,
while the husbands are the ones that are out, bringing the bacon kind of thing.
Tina, we'll start with you.
That's the breakdown of the situation.
Yeah. So Tina, we've all listened to the speech. I want to get your thought first of just how you generally feel.
Oh, sorry, you're breaking.
Okay.
So I listened to the whole thing. And there was actually something else that kind of hit me even a little bit harder. Not just like the staying at home thing. Like, I mean, technically I'm a single mom that has to balance a career and being at home for my son, right? So like, I will say that until TJ was born, I didn't think I was, any less of a woman or anything like that because I didn't have a kid. But when I did have him, I was like, oh, now I'm like adding to society in a different way, right? Not just in a career type of way.
Yeah.
The part that got me that he only touched a little bit upon was the sins of a whole month that's being, glorified. And I'm like, it was I think for the gay, for, the LGBT.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yep.
And that one actually hurt me more, I think, than the being, a mom or a woman that's not, doing their duties. Because my sister is LGBT, like she's in that society. She's gay. She's, she loves everybody actually. So like that one was just like, you don't have to necessarily be as old school as it was, because realistically that was hurting just as many people as whatever the other people's opinions are hurting now, right? Like if we're trying to love everybody and be kind and be thy neighbor, or all of these Old Testament things, like why shouldn't I care about the people because of their choice of who they love, right? Like that one was where I wanted to stop listening. And then after that is when he got into the wives, and he's like, and my wife, her dream of her career, she didn't get to have her dream of career, whatever. And what was it like? Does she feel bad about not having her career? Like, heck no. Well, yeah, because you're on a team. You're probably making buku fucking money, and you're bringing home enough money to support both of you. When I'm sorry, majority of the people around here can't have that. They don't have that. They have to bust their ass. They have to have two incomes, because a lot of these can't even have more than one or two kids. Like Johnny, you just have one, right? Like I have TJ, Greg has more. That takes a lot of people to try to, fund in a house. And I'm sorry, if you're making millions of dollars being one of the longest, field goal kickers, like, fine. Of course she's going to be like, honey, go ahead. I support you. Like, that's not how it is with everybody. And that it was it got to me a little bit. Like the more that I just listened to it, I was like, okay, well, not everybody's in that boat, but it seemed like he was ranting and raving about something that change is a part of life, and change is a part of society, and change is a part of evolution. And if you stick to these old ways, which is fine, but then saying, like, putting us down for wanting to better our careers or better, like, what am I supposed to tell TJ? No, go ahead, go and marry somebody and have her stay at home and raise the kid. Well, that's what she chooses, but not because she has to.
Right.
So it was hard.
Can I play devil's advocate real quick? I'm gonna throw a question out to both of you.
Yeah.
Tina, if you're talking about circumstance where, of course, you're a single mom, you can't do that. But what if you weren't a single mom? What if you were, you had a husband, he made enough money for you to stay home? Would you have wanted to stay home and raise TJ?
I'm too independent to do that anyway. Like I wouldn't, I want to spend as much as time as I can, but I would still want to have my own identity of what I can do for myself to show him, hey, you can't always depend on somebody else to have everything done for you, right? Like, what happens if they get the guy dies? How about this? Not even a divorce, right? The guy dies. Well, what did I learn? Did I learn anything about how to be an independent person outside of the house? Do I know how to do all these things? Like for me, I would have wanted my own career anyway, because then I know I'm independent for myself if anything were to happen.
Okay.
That's me.
Okay. Greg, I want to get back to you, Tina, about that. But
Mhm.
Greg, if that same question to you, do you think Krista would like to have stayed home and took care of all three if it could have been if it could have happened?
No, I mean
No.
it to a point. It kind of did. I mean, we got to a point where um the her commute, like after our third child was born, her commuting costs and the daycare costs and everything else, um it would have, like, the net would have gotten her like $4 an hour or something like that, which wasn't then worth it for her to keep doing her going into the office and commuting kind of job where she was the manager. She ran a marketing department. Um, so, and because I was carrying the health benefits at the time, it was decided that I would keep my job and that she would then stay home. Uh, but she wasn't staying home just to be a stay-at-home mom. She stayed home and launched her own freelance design business.
Mm-hmm.
So because we've had to have money coming in from both genders,
Right.
or both spouses, I guess is the better way to say it.
Right.
Because that's what we need. I mean, that's what we needed. So, would she have liked it? I think to a point. Like, she was raised in a traditional Christian household as well, where she was told that would have been her dream job, would be to be a stay-at-home mom and raise kids and be a housewife. The reality of it is that I've never, like, even when I met her and we were in college and we were talking about career plans and hopes and dreams and stuff like that, I'm like, she's not a stay-at-home mom type where that would have been her only thing. Like, it would have worn on her quickly. I think she would have enjoyed it for a while. But I think eventually she would have been like, no, I need to be active doing something. Like,
Okay.
like
Actually,
that's what it is.
with me being out for the last 2.5 months, I've basically been a stay-at-home mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I love TJ, like me just as an individual, I'm like, I can't be in these four walls all the time and only catering to this type of lifestyle. I can't. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I need to feel like I'm doing more than just raising my son, because he, like I said, he needs to see that I'm a person. I have
Mm-hmm.
my own goals, I have my own things. And not saying that any woman that wants to stay at home, fine if you want to, but that doesn't mean you have to.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be like put down as like that is your job, because it's just not the same way anymore. I've gone crazy these last 2.5 months because I want to go back to work. I just physically can't.
I think there's one of the pieces that's missing is when he was saying, hey, ladies, I think what you're going to miss here is your true calling of wanting this. And, like, he's assuming that that's what those women want. Like, they went to a university not to get a degree and discover what they want to do with their lives. They went to university to find a husband, which is a major misconception. But also, like, there was, like, one of my daughter's friends, one of my daughter who just finished her freshman year of college, one of her friends went to a very, very conservative Christian school. And she's like, oh, I need to have my guard up because there's going to be a group of guys that are literally into what they called their ring by spring mentality.
Oh.
And women too. Like, women are like, oh no, you go to college to find your spouse. Like, that is the purpose of it. and she's not in that club. Like she wants to get her degree and do her thing and explore the career that she wants to explore. But and at first I was like, that can't be as true as is what it was. And the stories that she would tell us about when she was on break or texting my daughter and we'd hear about it. And yeah, there were guys that were straight up courting her as a 18-year-old, saying, well, here is the reason that I'm interested in you is for wife material. And I'm like, holy crap.
Okay. I'm gonna get a little unpopular here.
Go ahead. As long
So
as it's you.
I'm not. I'm just curious when you, Tina, specifically, when you talk about staying home and taking care of your child, you make it sound like a punishment a little bit. Like you can't be an individual because of it. And I don't understand that point. Like just because you have to, or just because you are now, I guess if you're married to a husband who's saying, this is what I expect, this is how I want it to run, obviously that before you get married, I would hope you'd have that conversation so you know what you're getting into when you get married. But I'm very I guess I'm wondering what's wrong. When did being a homemaker and raising your kids, when did that become a bad thing?
It's
Hold on.
Okay, yeah, help me out.
I think this is where part of the confusion is because one,
Okay,
John, I have always thought that you would be a stay-at-home dad. Like
yeah,
even
right,
like that was a possibility for you
yes,
before you had kids. Like that
yes,
was part of that conversation because of the way, your jobs break down.
mm-hmm,
She could go to work, you could be the stay-at-home dad, and that's cool. Like that would
correct,
possibly work for you.
yes,
And you've got the personality to do that. Now, what I think the issue here
mm-hmm,
is not that that's not a valid choice for people to make because it very much is. Like if someone wants to do that and you can make that work, go ahead and do that. And when I say
Mhm.
make it work, you don't have to live in the 16-bedroom house and be a stay-at-home parent and be like, we made it work. You could live in a 2-bedroom apartment and be a stay-at-home parent and say we're making it work.
yeah,
That's cool. Like
yeah,
whatever it is. um I think it's the idea that he was making assumptions and then saying like
This is what
this
you're supposed to
this
do.
should be your choice
this
Right.
should,
Yeah.
okay,
as
okay,
you going to this
Mhm.
religious institutional college.
okay,
Your choice as laid out by the religion that you choose is this,
Mhm.
to the point where even the nuns that help run Benedictine College,
mm-hmm.
they made a statement that came out and said, yeah, that's messed up, we don't support that at all.
Okay, all right. So okay. So then I did misunderstand a couple of things because I didn't get the idea he was saying this is what you should do because his whole speech he started on talking about staying in our lane.
In our lane.
And
Right.
that's when I went, is he trying to go back to the 1950s where you are, like if you're gay, you're a bad person, you're going to hell.
Oh yeah,
There's
yeah.
no
And
acceptance.
did
And
you
if
hear how
you're
like you could hear like the sounds that came after they
right.
said that he
Again,
said that? Yeah.
I just wanted to see if,
Yeah.
okay, am I understanding what this guy's saying before I start judging him? Because maybe I'm not
Mhm.
getting this right. Um,
Mhm.
but that's the tone I got. Um, and again, I was just playing devil's advocate because I know for a fact, like Greg, you and I have talked about this. Technically, right now, I could be a stay-at-home dad. If we wanted, it would be tight, but I
Sure.
could do it. But um it the world's the world's really different right now. But I know that because I talked to Ursula about this the other day and I said if you could stay home and raise Gwen the whole time, would you do it? And she's like, absolutely, I would have done it that way. Because what horrified us as new parents were dropping her off to strangers, as nice as they were, as credible as they were, and them taking care of her during the day. That kind of felt Like we struggled with that. That's all. But I understand. I come from a single mother. Like she worked 3 jobs, and I was on my own at 8. You know,
He's
so
cutting out. He's cutting
Yeah,
out.
John, you're cutting
Yeah,
out just a
you're cutting
touch.
out a lot. Mm-hmm.
oh, am I? Okay, because I'm not getting anything like that from
Yeah, you
you.
are.
I know we're out. I know we're out on
Yeah.
Twitch. Okay. Am I still cutting out?
No, we're according to what I'm looking at, we're fine on Twitch, but
Okay. So
Mm.
I don't
You're
know what you.
laggy and cutting out and
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Okay, why don't
But
you two carry
first
on the
off,
conversation?
I and I'm not trying to discount what you were getting at, John. But from the Twitch chat, one of our listeners says his mom is a physicist, like a full-time physicist. Oh, and you are cutting out on Twitch a little bit, John. So I think it's your internet is freaking out.
tell Gwen to get off something.
Gwen's eating up the internet. Uh, so, but
Better
that's
be in
interesting.
bed.
I hadn't heard that about his mom. That she's a full time. That his mom's a physicist. I mean, obviously a career that requires a degree to do, and probably an advanced degree, if not a master's, then a PhD. And yeah, I mean, so if he's, I mean, I wonder what his mom is saying. Is his mom coming out and being like, "Sit down, shut up"? You know, like you shouldn't be. If you want to talk about women's roles, that's not how you're going to go about it.
Yeah. And you know what, Johnny? It's not a punishment. I love being able to take care of TJ. Like his dad wanted, like Tim was the one staying at home with him for a very, very long time when I had to go back to work. And there was nothing wrong with that. It's just I don't like being told that I have to do something because of my gender, because that's what is seen in society like that, right?
Mm.
Like I think that's where it was more hurtful, that instead of him progressing with the fact that it's like, okay, my wife can be a stay-at-home mom and also possibly pursue a career for herself and support me. It is possible. He was just going right back to, I'm Puerto Rican and Cuban. In our society, in our world, the woman stays home and the guy is the one that makes all the money and the guy is the one that goes out. But the problem is that then you become the cleaner, the provider at home,
Mhm.
the person that has to like do everything at the home. But then the guy comes home and he trashes it or he does whatever the hell he wants. And then you're supposed to pick up after him too. This is a home that's supposed to be everybody has their chores, their duties at home because you are contributing to all that in the household, right? So why do I have to stay at home and cook and clean and be your, like it was said, barefoot and pregnant and doing all that while you go and provide out there, but then when you come home you don't respect me like that? That's what our culture had also seen.
Mm.
So I don't want that. I think that as a family we're a unit, and if there's a way to work together as a unit and still have that peace at home of like, okay, well, sure, I'm taking care of TJ. I love it. I love it a lot, but at the same time, you can do the dishes too, dude. It's not just up to me because I'm the homemaker. Like, I'm here to provide a safe space for you and a safe environment and and show you love and caring and also how to be a functioning person of society. And by having one person just do whatever the hell they want outside of the house, because yeah, okay, you're going to work, but then, well, I've been at work all day, well, now I need to go out with my friends. Well, what the hell, I need some time too, and that's also a balance that I don't think a lot of people understand if they don't have that situation at home. So it's raising TJ is actually a joy. It's not a punishment. I just think that certain situations could seem like that too, though. But I just don't want to
Mhm.
be told this is what you have to do because you're a woman. Well, I have a lot of things that I could say about a guy, but I don't because it doesn't matter. You're a person, you know.
Okay.
So
Am I lagging?
No, you're good. You're good right now.
Okay. So Tina, that's Yes, that's exactly I've heard that a lot. I've been in households where that's the thing. But I'm not sure that's what he was saying in that speech. Again, playing devil's advocate. I'm not sure he was saying your job is to stay at home, clean everything, do everything in the house while the man walks in and or has a beer at 5 with his buddies at the bar, comes home drunk, eats his dinner, and then goes to bed. I don't, I'm not sure that's what he was saying with that.
What do you think he was saying?
Well, okay. So good question. I think what he was saying is, and this kind of reminds me, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Dr. Laura. Have you ever heard of Dr.
Oh
Laura?
yeah, I've heard of that.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, Dr.
She
Laura
has,
Berman.
yeah, she has this philosophy that no one should raise your child but you. And it all stems from making the right choice with a husband. And if you make the right choice with a husband, that basically it's almost not a perfect situation, but he works all day. He comes home and there is almost this um give and take there where the guy comes home. It doesn't mean he's not going to clean. It doesn't mean he's not going to do dishes. It doesn't mean he's not even going to cook. He's just really appreciative you're taking care of the kid. At least that's how I've understood her. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't listened to a lot of things. I'm only in there on the weekends when we're driving around, and me and Ursula will listen to her. So I don't know. What I'm saying is I don't have an extensive library of what she said, so I might be wrong on all of that. I'm not sure. But so to follow up your question, Greg, what I'm saying is I think he was kind of saying let's get back on track where men were taking care of the family. The God, even now I'm actually as it's coming through my head, I'm realizing I'm saying I could be stepping into a serious problem because this is nothing I believe. I'm just saying this is what I was hearing from him was that getting back to that nuclear, is it the nuclear family? Is that the right term?
Nuclear family is when you have other outside members involved outside of just your spouse.
Okay. So traditional then, right? The 1950s traditional, but I guess maybe I'm adding the caveat of just because I work all day and I come home, it doesn't mean, Tina, per se, I expect you to clean laundry, food, all of that.
Okay.
Well, what's
Does
a
that make sense?
homemaker then? Like,
I've got the quote up in front
Okay.
of me.
mhm.
His direct quote is, I think it is you, the women, who had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now about to cross the stage and thinking about the promotions and titles that you're going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world. And this is where he goes off. But I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you're going to bring into this world. I'm on the stage today to be able to be the man I am because I have a wife who leans into her vocation and embraces one of the most
Stop.
important titles
Leans into her
at all.
vocation. What does that mean?
Who embraces the most important title of all, homemaker.
Homemaker.
So homemaker is all those tasks that Tina was talking about. And
Okay.
he's making the assumption that
That every girl wants to do it.
that most of the women about to graduate, about to get their degree, are more excited about being homemakers than they are for the degree that they just earned.
Homemakers of the 1950s where the guy does the Mad Men and the ladies at home.
Yeah.
Okay, then he's an asshat for that. Okay, that's not what I was understanding. Okay, all right.
That's only one of the points that he screwed up on. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I
mean,
I didn't take homemaker as a negative thing.
Yeah.
So that's my fault for misunderstanding where he was coming from. But what is lane? So he was saying, women, you need to stay in your lane. We'll stay in ours, and we need our leaders to stay in their lane. So basically, he was saying
on that point, yes.
So basically, he was saying, let's go back to the good old days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. I get. Yeah. Asshat. I understand now. What did Cousin Clay say? He chimed in.
He says, hot social topic. I see it. More to the point, it'd be nice if one in the family, if sex doesn't matter, and he means gender doesn't matter. I'd like to be a stay-at-home dad, but we both need to work, pay our bills, and have extra stuff to do. Yeah, that's right. I mean, and that's literally like, I think 99% of Americans today have to live in a 2-income household just to
Yes.
make it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm looking at
yes.
My kids' ages and older. They're like, we can never own a house because it is so screwed up right now.
Right.
And it really is. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
If we're looking to place blame on people, it's the ones that came from that generation where those traditional values that have screwed up the economy enough that, you know, those coming into college or going out of college right now are like, hey, we're going to have roommates. Like it's going to be multiple family households just because that's the only way we're going to be able to afford property.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Clay also says, also, dude's name is Harrison. What a nerd. I think you need to talk to a Dr. Jones. I think he would find that not true. I think Harrison Ford, I think he's doing all right.
Yeah. Anyway, so that is the main, or that was the one that the first thing I heard about with his speech. But as Tina said, he goes on and attacks the LGBTQ beliefs, and then those with political beliefs that lean to the left. He goes after all of them. Like, he thinks the downfall of society is like the DEIB movement, which
the what movement?
DEIB, diversity, inclusion, equity, and belonging.
Oh, okay.
He is so well articulate over here, Mr. Articulate.
Well, I don't get how Harrison, who's literally his teammates are like probably 90% people of color, and he's like, this inclusion stuff's shitty. Like, what? Like, are you kidding me?
Oh wow, so he was going back to segregation. Like,
let's see. He went off on a lot of stuff, including pro-abortion, IVF.
Well, that's a big Catholic
the
thing.
the natural birth control for for Christ or for Catholic Christians, whatever.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
So he's, and here's the thing. I mean, we can't have. It's the trade-off. You can't have freedom of religion in this country, and like, we have to let everybody have their views. I mean, as much as this guy, I personally believe that he's an asshat, and I would hate to be his daughters growing up in that house because of the expectations that are going to be put on them. Yeah. I'd hate to be any of his kids if one of them end up being, gay or whatever, because I mean, he'll disown them, and that we've seen that causes massive trauma. All these things. But if I want to be able to practice my religion the way I want to, he's got to be able to practice his the way he does too.
Yeah. Okay, good.
And then he also, he started off with, I have a platform I never expected to have, but God put me here. And it's like, okay, well, how are you really going to use your platform? Are you going to use it just to say what you want to really say, or do you want to use it to make the world really a better place for everybody? He was saying, oh, this is not my beliefs, or whatever, like, this is not what but yes, it is, because you're saying it. Now, in a commencement speech, what are they really supposed to say during something like that? Did anybody actually read it? Because it is for the Catholic, or whatever, the school, but like, did anybody actually read what he was going to be saying?
Like the organizers, did he just go off script? That's a good question. I don't know. Did he get approval of his,
for somebody who's not a normal speaker, and that he's going to speak? And it's like, okay, well then, literally today, Nick's son graduated from high school, and one of the speakers was going from English to Spanish. And because I can understand both, right? Because Spanish is my first language. What he was saying in Spanish was so much more beautiful than what he was saying in English. But it was the same type of things, but he didn't completely translate everything into English. And what he was saying in Spanish was just so beautiful. Like, I was starting to get some tears, and I was like, go back up in there, because I'm like, he was trying to encourage everybody and say, don't give up on yourself and you can do anything you want. And then this type of speech that he's giving, is saying, just like
Congratulations. Let's go back to the
Yeah.
1950s.
let's go back. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, now you just went to school for all this and now you're not going to do anything, by the way. You're going to spend all this money trying to pay back, tuition or whatever, and then loans, and now, but you're going to stay at home. Like that's the whole reason why people need two income houses anyway. It's because they did go to school, they spent all that money, or they didn't know how to budget. In school, we should learn how to, live outside and pay a mortgage and all these things. They don't teach us that in school, right? In high school.
Yeah.
And then now you go to college and now you have all these bills, and then you're going to go and marry somebody who has more bills,
Yeah.
It was stupid.
I guess my antenna goes up whenever I hear somebody say, God put me here for this purpose. Are you sure God put you there? Are you sure you just went there and you thought that was your purpose? Like those people that think that they're being led by God, that kind of worries me sometimes. Sometimes generally like someone that wants to become a priest for the right reasons. I don't know what the wrong reasons, or I'm sure there's plenty of horrible wrong reasons, but someone that wants to go there for the right reasons. Yes, I think maybe in subtle ways God's leading you there, but the people that think like for Harrison to sit there and think God wanted him to say this, those people scare me
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, are you sure it's
Mm-hmm.
God? Or are you sure it's just you? Like, are you like, who are you?
Well,
Like,
and
go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
he, he's he set back the Christian movement yet again. I mean, like we didn't need any more help fighting the social war. I mean,
Yeah,
in that
that's true.
respect.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I'm looking through all the AP articles to see like did he get approval? There's nothing out there that I can find right now that says yes, it was approved or no, it wasn't. The direct reactions were like some people, some students that were there were like, yeah, he's just going back to traditional roles. Some of the women there were like, that was degrading. Like that's not what we needed to hear.
What
Um,
was like the chancellor or the chairman or what? Did they have any rebuttal to that? Or
no, I haven't seen anything from college leadership. The only thing I've seen from the college itself was the nuns that are like, no, that was not good.
good for
In
them?
the
Good,
NFL. It's
I
not
mean,
the
people.
view of the NFL.
good
Well,
for them.
yeah. Then there's the other like his organizations, the Chiefs and the NFL in themselves were like, oh, we're taking a step back. Yeah, that's his thoughts. That's not us. That's
Well,
that's
yeah,
that
of
guy right
course.
there.
Yeah, of
Mhm.
course.
The what, I was looking at something here and now I lost it. Overall, I think the college, if and this is just my thoughts. I
Yeah.
haven't read anything that would say this, but I could see because they are a private college that you know you got to make money somewhere, right?
Hmm.
They could have approved that with the idea of, oh, this is going to get us national attention.
Oh,
This is
okay.
going to get us a platform for us to say one way or the other. Nope, that was his thoughts. We didn't really want to put that out there. That's not who we are. We're not that flavor of Catholic anymore. So if you come here, you'll understand that that's not us. Or if this is what you're looking for, oh, we got it in spades for you. If you want
Mhm.
that kind of traditional thing, come on over. So they can spin this either way.
Yeah.
And I bet they're trying to figure out what's the best way to get the most bang for their buck.
Did you
because
think
because
that,
that's any college. That's not just a Catholic
right?
thing. That's
Do,
any college could have taken advantage of that.
do you think that he went in there thinking he was in a place where everybody would applaud him?
Well, they did. He got a standing ovation.
Oh, did he? I didn't know
He
the
did.
result.
No, yeah, it was, and that was a little bit of people are like, well, if it was that bad, how come he got like a standing ovation? I can't. I saw how long it lasted, but I can't find it right now. Um, but yeah, I mean, he finished his thing, and
And he got to say,
everybody
okay.
But,
Well, I mean,
but
he
here-
was
but here's the
preaching
thing.
to the
I
choir.
remember what
He was,
I remember my college graduation.
yeah.
I don't remember who the speaker was, but when he was done and everybody stood up and did, I did too, because I was like,
I was gonna
okay,
say,
there's
All right.
there's 45 minutes I spaced out. Let's get this thing over with.
Yeah. So you
My
were more or
sister's-
less going, thank God you're done. All right, it's hot. It's hot out here. Good job.
Ooh, here's something Sean said is this guy's jersey sales went crazy after the statement. So the
Oh,
university could also make some money from those people as well. Okay.
okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, I thought it'd be a interesting conversation. We rarely get serious on this podcast, so I thought it was just something that I needed to talk because I needed to understand if am I getting this right? Should I be as mad as I am, or are people getting too mad at this? I wasn't sure, so I had to
Well,
talk to you guys. It's always good to talk about it before you.
the other piece of this is that he's a multiple Super Bowl winning football player with the Kansas City Chiefs, and most people haven't heard his name until now, or they didn't recognize his name until now.
Yeah.
So this is him scrapping at his 15 minutes, because even though he was set up for life being on the Kansas City Chiefs, like I can't imagine the locker room is going to be a great place for him next year. I think I even saw Andy Reid came out and he was like, just kind of he dodged the question, but the look on his face was like, no, I don't want to talk about that.
Well, there is a hierarchy in a locker room, and a kicker is not high on that hierarchy.
Nope.
So just ask, I think his name was Cody Parkey on the Bears after the double doink.
Double doink.
Yeah, he
freaking-
wasn't on the team very long after that.
And then Blewett was after that, right?
Who?
Blewett. He Blewitt. He was one of the kickers that, on Chicago. His last name was Blewett.
No.
Fitting.
No, Tina.
Yeah.
Okay, Tina, now I'm going to tell you to stay in your lane with your Packers.
Oh,
There was no Blewett that was a kicker for the Bears.
well, she fact checks that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Bears waived kicker Chris Blewett in 2019 on Wednesday. Waived kicker Chris Blewett, leaving two kickers on the roster. He was on there. I'm telling
No.
you.
Listen
The Bears-
to what I'm saying.
okay.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Listen,
Because he was at
Signed as
a
an
mini
undrafted
camp, because he was
free
at a
agent with the
camp,
Chicago Bears in
doesn't
2019.
say it again.
Blewett originally signed as an undrafted free agent with the Chicago Bears in 2019.
How many games did he play?
I don't know, but he was on
didn't. Therefore, he was not on the roster. Therefore, he did not count.
there. Dates joined 2021 Washington Commanders, March of
Yeah, you're
2019 Chicago Bears.
We're not talking about
2019
Commanders.
Pittsburgh-
We're not talking about
I'm-
Commanders.
But I'm saying it's right there.
Greg, you and Tina talk about something because now she lit a fire, and
oh
I have
no.
I have to
But
stop this.
Blewett was invited to Pittsburgh's feeling
Because you'll always find a way to bring NFL news or NFL stuff into any podcast.
Me?
It's May.
Later, he signed with the Chicago Bears on March 6, 2019, but was waived on June 12, 2019. I get it. He didn't
Exactly.
actually play,
Exactly.
but
That's
he
my
was
point.
on there.
That's my
He
point.
was on there.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't on there until if you don't play a
Blewett.
game, a regular season game, you're not on there.
A former kicker for the Washington football team has played.
I
two
don't
games
care
in
about the
Chicago.
Washington
Has
football
three
team.
kicks. I'm sorry. TJ's trying to show me stuff too.
No,
I just
you're
thought it
both
was
wrong.
interesting.
Moving on. Moving
Did
on.
anybody
Tina.
see If this
Tina.
weekend? Anybody? No.
What?
Anybody out
Did you
there?
see If? Did you see it?
No. No.
Oh, you didn't see
Did I
it.
Just trying
see what?
to change the subject.
If the movie If. No. All right, Tina, get us out of this. Tell us a really bad joke.
Well, I don't know if it's bad. I mean, it's really not a
It's
joke.
bad. Go ahead.
Did you guys hear about the about the fortune teller who went on vacation? Yeah, she went to Palm Beach.
Okay. So give us some weird facts, Tina.
All right, TJ, you may need to leave the room for this one.
Oh,
My
How-
12-year-old child. I know
How
you can
about
hear
the
me.
oh yeah,
weather,
because he's
Marshall?
never heard any of this.
Right. Okay.
Middle
Well,
school.
this will. I just don't want to see his face when I start talking about this. Barnacles have adaptable penises.
I think you told us that.
Adaptable, like
I have not told you this one. Barnacles,
Adaptable?
adaptable. Listen to this. Barnacles may have the most interesting penises in the animal kingdom. Their penises can stretch up to 8 times the length of their body. And while many species manhoods can change size, few can alter their shape. But researchers in Alberta found that barnacles that live in gentle waters have long and thin penises that are good for reach, while those in rough waters have short and wider penises and that are better for holding off strong waves. The researchers then transported rough water barnacles to calmer waters and vice versa, and found that after getting moved around, the barnacles adjusted their penises' shapes to better fit their environment.
You know what I'm
Okay.
thinking, Greg? You know what I'm thinking?
Oh,
Some guy,
what?
some guy sat there and got a grant to do this.
Yeah.
So
Somebody
this is what I
wrote-
want to do, sir. I want to take the rough water barnacles, put them in calmer water to see what their penis does.
Yeah.
And some guy was like, all right, sounds good. Stamp. There you go. There's your grant, sir.
I got another
No,
one.
we have a comment, and it's fantastic. It's because the water's cold, and so that they,
Drinkage.
colder water will change things.
Drinkage. Look it up.
It happens in every species.
I got another one. Scientists finally found the snake clitoris. So we went from penises now to clitorises. Researchers recently described the structure of the snake's clitoris for the first time. The forked organ known as the hemiclitoris or clitoris snake species. Although the snake hemipenis had previously been studied, no one had described an equivalent structure in female snakes, which led some scientists to speculate that the hemiclitoris had either been reduced to a stunted evolutionary remnant or didn't exist at all. Just saying.
Okay.
Okay.
Gosh.
Those are the ones I got for you today.
It just kind of amazes me that people like this, hey, Joe, I found it. I finally found it. I found the clitoris. It's right here. I don't. All right. Okay. There's somebody can you imagine you're spending your entire life trying to figure that out?
Well, some guys spend their entire life trying to figure out.
How many years in college to get the degree, to go in there and find a snake. Yeah. All right, man.
Like the master's thesis options are running a little short. Where
short? Did you mean that on purpose?
That research has already been done already. You got to come up with something a little bit more unique. Snake clitoris. And they went, oh, do snake have those? And he's like, I don't know, but I'm going to find out.
I did find another one that was that they sent up into space. Something else. I can't remember where it was, but it was that they sent certain species up into space to find out some of them were actually mating out there and coming back impregnated, and I just don't remember where I saw that.
I think it was funny that your hands are some of them are mating.
Yeah, mating. Yeah.
All right, believe it or not, folks.
You guys have seen the episode of Seinfeld where Jerry forgot the name of the girl, and her name was Dolores, but it rhymed with clitoris.
Clitoris, yes, yeah.
That's funny. Anyway, go ahead,
Jerry. Greg, we're already in an hour of here, so why don't we get a little polyamory going?
This was, it's getting hard to find lesser known music that I can introduce to you guys. So this is one, being that this was the serious show that John wanted to do, with heavy-handed kind of stuff. I went for that musically as well. I don't know if you guys have heard, but there seems to be some kind of thing to do in the Gaza Strip right now. And I'm not taking sides one way or the other, but Macklemore has. Macklemore, the rapper.
I loved him in person. Oh, he's fun to watch.
That's cool.
Oh yeah.
And you know what? I like his stuff. I mean, it's fun to listen to. But he came out with a pretty hard hitting song that had to do with the Gaza Strip
Really?
crisis. So yeah, I went and found that, and
Before you go into it, how is that being received?
well, it's got over 12 million plays right now, so I think pretty well.
Okay.
At least I mean that's just on Spotify, but
Right.
and I'm not going to go into the whole like who Macklemore is because y'all can look for that. He's been around for a while. So here is his song called Hindshall.
Yeah. The people, they won't leave. What is threatening about divesting and want a piece? The problem isn't the protests, it's what they're protesting. It goes against what our country is funding. Block the barricade until Palestine is free. Block the barricade until Palestine is free. When I was 7, I learned a lesson from Cuban Eazy-E. What was it again? Oh yeah, fuck the police. Actors and badges protecting property in a system that was designed by white supremacy. But the people are in the streets. You could pay off Meta, you can't pay off me. Politicians who serve by any means, APAC, Kofi, and all the companies. You see, we sell fear around the land of the free, but this generation here is about to cut the strings. You can ban TikTok, take us out the algorithm, but it's too late. We've seen the truth, we bear witness. Seen the rubble, the buildings, the mothers and the children, and all the men that you murdered, and then we see how you spin it. Who gets the right to defend and who gets the right of resistance? It's always been about dollars and the color of your pigment. But white supremacy is finally on glass, screaming free Palestine to their home at last. We see the lie, claiming it's anti-Semitic.
Okay.
So
I like the beat.
Yeah, first time I heard that, it really kind of took me back. I mean, like again, I'm not gonna go on which side I'm falling on personally, but like it took me back when rap and R&B meant something. And it was they were getting back into this isn't just music for a party, although that was there. We're getting into the social values. Like he even brought up NWA and Ice Cube. I mean, what they were rapping about, and it was very controversial. It was very political.
Yeah.
And I think like I know I'm getting old because a lot of the music that my kids listen to, I'm just like, God, this is terrible. Like their rap music is terrible because it has no meaning, no substance to it.
Right.
For me, but this is a callback to NWA and like when I was in high school, Rage Against the Machine and some of the other ones that were rapping about political things and trying to get social change. And I was like, ooh, I'm down with this. So
right.
Yeah.
All right, Tina. Why don't you give us one more joke? You don't have one. Fantastic. Let's move on.
I do. I just want to make sure that I say it correctly. What do you give a sick bird?
What?
A tweetment.
I actually like that one. That's not bad. Okay.
all right.
We'll end the show with that.
Just got to make sure I said it right.
Ladies and gentlemen, today is National Devil's Food Cake Day. What's your favorite cake, Tina?
I personally love cheesecake. Is that technically a cake or
it has cake
in the name?
Yep.
Red velvet. I don't know what about it, the fakeness of it. I really like red velvet with some cream cheese frosting, but that's very seldom.
The Greg?
Pineapple upside down.
Okay. All right. Mine would be angel food cake. Always liked it. Nice and spongy.
Just plain vanilla.
Yeah. All right, Greg, take us out, sir.
All right. Well, we are coming to the end of spring. Like Memorial Day is upon us. We are kicking off summer. The weather's getting nice, as John mentioned before. The cicadas are out in some parts of the country, so watch where you're stepping and don't be a douche.
There you go. For Badass Tina, the Greg, this is Johnny saying, take care. Good night. Have a fantastic
Good
week.
luck.
Yeah. See ya.
Peace.
Podcast out.
Yet the music industry's quiet, complicit in their platform of silence. What happened to the artist? What you gotta say? If I was on a label, you could